Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to your new moon readings for the new moon in Cancer, 10th of July GMT, like really early in the morning, 1 in the morning, so 9th of July for a lot of the rest of the world. Now, as ever, this is a bulk introduction. I'm going to discuss a little about the moon beforehand because, oh God, I've got so much to say. But there is a timestamp in the description down below if you want to fast forward to your reading or if you are watching more than one. Because I would say, as ever, watch your sun, your rising, and your moon, to be honest. But the moon one is sort of a more internal process, or at least one would assume. But the other thing with this is a general reading. General reading rules apply, so timing's not absolute. If someone else appears in the reading, you can get them mixed up because I'm seeing actions and energies. I don't put a lot of stock in that, but I can see how it can happen. But more importantly, what I would like you to do is ask a question. Now, if you don't have one yet, watch my little waffle about the moon, and that might inspire one. But if you are aware of one, pause the video if you need to. Think about all of the questions that are around you at the moment and focus on one of them. But be aware of all of them because cards will answer what they want. Obviously, as a YouTube channel, please hit that like button while you're here, or if you like my analysis of the moon and the new moon events, let's put it that way, then hit that subscribe button. There will be more and they are only going to get better because, as I say, I am not an astrologer. I am learning this stuff, but my God, it doesn't end and it's fascinating. So I want to thank you to all returning subscribers, and also point out that I will be doing a show with astrologer David Fisher about the astrology from a Hellenistic, with David from a Hellenistic astrology point of view. And just remember, it's a general reading I'm about to do here. Don't give away your power. If the reading is for you, which there's a past and a present always, well, actually this time it's more of just a present. But if the present doesn't fit, don't try and make it fit. Now, this time I've been led to use the Steampunk Tarot. Now, I've actually got 3 decks called the Steampunk Tarot, but this is a big box one from Tuttle by John and Caitlin Matthews. And the more I work with this particular deck, the more interesting it gets because it's got elements of, whereas the in-between tarot has sort of the space in between each card, this one, the minor arcana seem to be combinations, like a combination of wands and pentacles, or a combination of cups and swords, or a combination of the other 2 ways of doing it, which my brain's gone completely blank for a second there. But anyway, like I say, if you're wanting to get a personal reading from me, there is a link in the Facebook, in the description, a link for the Facebook page down below. Let's get my words in order. You can contact me there directly because it has got an inbox. There's a link tree down there if you prefer another way. Facebook's really the best way to do it. Right, let's get on about this moon. You'll have to forgive me. I'm going to stop looking at the camera. I'm not used to having it quite so close. So as I look at the screen, you're going to really notice the difference. So this new moon is occurring in 18 degrees Cancer, 18 degrees and 1 minute. So there's an element of numerology 9, rebirth, or at least I always see 9 as rebirth. If you think about how you collapse numbers in numerology, the 9 always disappears, but it's always there. It never really leaves. It's like this supreme force behind each number. Now, 18 degrees Capricorn is within the arc of the angel Yael, or the Goetic spirit Ipos. Let me just change pages so I've got the notes up here, and of course I haven't written anything about Epos. That was clever of me. But by day it is ruled by the Goetic spirit Goujon, or by night Voil. Now Voil reveals the past, the present, and the future. You know, he reconciles enemies and brings love to a relationship. In medieval, wonderfully sexist speak, it says the love of a woman to a man. He creates friendships and ensures esteem. He knows all and can manipulate time. That I'm, if you've seen my videos before, you know I'm fascinated with what time is on a spiritual level as well as a physics level and everything. Now, the themes that I'm pulling from this new moon, you know how I say that I don't like doing relationship readings. Well, astrology and this new moon has told me to wind my neck in, because this new moon's very much about partnerships. It's in Cancer, it's about the home and family, but it's all forms of partnerships. So between you and a significant other, between you and your friends, between you and your rulers, elected representatives, however you want to say it. And there's a lot of themes about research, and this is all seen in the symbols for 18 degrees Cancer. But just in having a look at the partnerships theme to start off with, in the Astrology Hub podcast, Anne Ortley pointed out that Juno, the wife of Jupiter, the planet of marriage vows, you know, among other things, is retrograde at the moment and is on the South Node. So traveling in the same direction as the South Node. It's funny that Jupiter's gone retrograde, but Juno was already there. Jupiter's there, going back, chasing after her. And Anne said that this would indicate that there could be quite a few partnerships coming to an end. There's more on that, because Saturn is opposite the asteroid Hera, who, again, that's the Greek form of Juno. So again, there's the matter of vows and marriage and loyalty, opposing Saturn, where Saturn is strong and likes to say no. So there's that element of, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. This vow, this contract, this agreement, it's not serving us. We need to do it differently. Now, I'm not saying that that means things are coming to an end, just the way things have been going so far is coming to an end. That can be good. It doesn't necessarily mean a massive breakup, because Chiron, is it still in Aries or is it in Taurus? I think it's in Taurus now. Let me just check with my chart that's up. I'm sure it's in Taurus. Yes, it is. Right, so Chiron in Taurus is parallel. Now, parallels work like a conjunction. Chiron in Taurus is parallel Orpheus and Vesta. So there's wounding and healing and instruction to be had regarding the matters of unrequited love with Orpheus, and diving into the underworld, of course. And with Vesta, matters about the home. And you need to check the other astrologer videos about, especially Anastasia, Cosmic Astrologer, for a real in-depth look at Vesta during this new moon period. Sappho. Now, Sappho was a poet in ancient Greece, and she was a servant of Aphrodite. She's, as an asteroid, is very much about artistic abilities, sexual expression, and in Aquarius, Sappho likes to shock. Now, bear in mind that this, for the shock element, this Mars square Uranus, although the actual square is fading now, it's like 3.5 degrees going on 4 degrees arc, Mars is still parallel. So there's that Mars conjunct Uranus energy going on through the parallel. And we saw, wasn't it, January the 6th, that was Mars conjunct Uranus. So there's certainly energy for one partner to shock another. But with Chiron's presence with the Orpheus and Vesta, this can be a a healing thing. That healing thing is also we are enveloped. Um, Apollo, I forget what sign Apollo is because I haven't written it down here. But Apollo is opposing Aesculapia, which I'm assuming represents Aesculapius. So there's the god of healing, and then his, I think he's Asclepius, sorry, is his grandson. And he was given to be the earthly expert on healing by Apollo. So with those opposing one another, they're both working towards healing, and I don't think that they're actually working at odds against one another. They are enveloping the whole zodiac in a way of creating the opportunity for some healing. Now, if we look at the symbols, the Sabian symbol, Cancer 19, because 18 degrees Cancer is the 19th degree of Cancer, a priest performing a marriage ceremony. And it talks about the ritualization of productive interpersonal relationships. But also, another interpretation that I was reading talks about how marriage is, in a way, a tool of civilization to promote some form of conformity. Civilization promotes conformity to bring all facets of light into alignment. Before civilization began to take shape, there weren't any priests, ceremonies, or contracts for sexual relations. Civilization actually, by its very nature, promotes conformity, and it can create bondage and deny individuality. It is structured by laws and moral codes with penalties. So this is something that you can take advantage of, or here may well be something that will get challenged with that Mars-Uranus energy, because it's interesting that Mars being semi-sextile the moon, they can't officially see one another when they're next to one another like that. So it's quite possible that they will be working not necessarily at cross purposes, but pursuing totally different agendas. Now, I also want to say that there's a big note about research. Let me see, the Charabel degree is a man with a very old looking book before him. It has the appearance of Sonic Ancient Record. I think that might be a misprint here that I've got, but that's what it says, Sonic Ancient Record. But the book denotes a studious person, and 18 degrees Cancer, if you have that in your chart. It can denote a studious person, a profound thinker, one capable of grappling with abstruse studies. And it's study for the sake of study rather than study in order to publish or to be heard or to be a renowned expert. But there's a lot of expertise getting unleashed. This is backed up by the Kosminski degree symbol, which is an old man sitting alone in semi-darkness with an old book before him from which emanate bright rays of light. So there's this search for the truth within this 18 degrees Cancer degree, which I think is absolutely beautiful and very, very needed, especially during this time where partnerships and agreements are, well, astrologically under pressure. But if you look at the relationship of the moon to the rulers, the south node is being ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is strong at the moment. It's in Pisces, it's at home, but it's starting to move retrograde. It's like the last gasp of this period of Jupiter in Pisces. And that implies, I think we'll be discussing this with David, but it implies that leadership can be doubted, that there can be a lot of force from the people of wanting to know the true facts, but again with a healing level, because I've just noticed as I'm going through this, the Safarial degree symbol, now I don't know what that first word is, and escutcheon Right, I don't know what an escutcheon is. I'm assuming it is some form of shape containing a harp and a gauntlet. Now, I'm really drawn to that harp because that's the symbol of Apollo. That's the symbol that Apollo uses. Okay, that's with his music, but harp, lyre, it's reinforcing that influence of Apollo. And Apollo is also a god of truth, which reinforces those other degree symbols I was saying. So here, the Safario degree symbol says it denotes a person of noble aspirations and refined tastes. As an interpreter of others' works, he would shine. In the character, there is a particular mixture of gentleness and irritability, of playfulness and gravity, which can render the native of this degree more difficult to deal with. So that's from a natal interpretation, but we're seeing this same vibration of let's get to the truth, let's check all the agreements, and let's cancel the ones that are useless and cancel the ones that are rubbish. Now, if that has not, because I could talk for a lot longer about this, but if that has not given you fuel for a question, if you didn't have one already, then well, I don't know what will. Because we're always, it's human nature, isn't it? Is this partnership good for me? Whether it's between us and our employer, our partner, our leaders. I mean, hell, we get to test that ever so often, hopefully, while voting rights, well, when voting rights are available. So ask your question, take that moment. Thank you very much for watching so far and watching my blurb. And if you have any comments on the reading or on the astrology aspect, well, astrology, then comment down below. I always try to respond as fast as I can, so you get a response within a day. Anyway, I think I've talked for long enough. I'll bring up the cards. Okay, Aries, we start this reading, it looks like, with you all up in your head. We start with the Brazen Head card, which is basically it's the Justice card. So you're wanting to set something right. You're wanting to get a degree of balance in a situation. And I also feel from the way that this card is constructed that you want to escape some form of oversight. Not as in, someone who has a right to look over you and say, are you doing this well or are you doing this not well? But that sense of somebody always looking over your shoulder, constantly sort of judging. However, there is some form of pain, some form of heartache that is preventing you moving forward on this. So that needs to be dealt with, whatever it is, because there's a lot of messages here where I believe you're in the process of going, hang on a minute, is this pain, this heartache doing me any good? But you also have an inclination to think that the grass is greener somewhere else. Clarifying this journey card from the Energy Oracle, we have the Envy card, where there is a woman with a pearl in one hand and a plate of coins. I mean, who has a plate of coins? But a plate of coins in the other hand, but she's still looking out the window thinking, I want that. Not this, not all this stuff I've got, I want that. But there's also there's a weird sort of sense as because she's indoors, there's a sense of maybe I want freedom and I don't want to be weighed down by these, I'm going to say riches. There's there's a beneficial, how can I put it, resources that are available to you, but maybe they come at a little bit of a cost. Maybe they come at just a slight sense of feeling restriction. But this is something that you have to come to terms with. And you are in the process of, do I value this or not? But the Envy card, the implicit message with that is, stop looking elsewhere. Count your blessings that you've got right here. Now, this is clarifying, because I've got two versions of the energy oracle. This is clarifying the journey card. So, the journey card suggests exactly what it says in the name. You're off on a journey. Now, this could be a journey towards healing, or it could be, as it says in the book, something along the lines of pack your bags, you're off. So, being clarified by that envy card, I want you to consider if you are going on whatever this journey is, because there's something around you that is worth not leaving. In the other people position, we have the Two of Submersibles, which is basically the Two of Cups. So there is someone who is offering you a union or is in union with you. You know, I'm not saying it's necessarily new, because this column, at least these three, are pretty much just a statement of affairs. Probably the wrong word. But there is someone who has a devotion to you. And that is something that I would hope you are, as you are working out the value of things, that you take that into account, because there's, like I said, there's a pain here that's in the way. So if you are going to set off on a journey, there's two journeys you can go here. There's a journey where you pack the bags, close the door and never go back. Or there's the journey of getting over whatever this pain is, because I think this will, grammatically, this sentence is true, but do not take this sentence literally, take it metaphorically. Recently, you have been living in the past, which makes sense because recently is the past. But recently, you've been looking back, you've been capturing some form of age-old nostalgia, or perhaps a sense of what things used to be and what's no longer available. But that again brings us back to this envy card, to like open your eyes, Aries, and have a look at what is available. As I say, there's someone here with a massive devotion to you. And I think I'm preaching to the converted as well. We have the Ten of Airships, which is the Ten of Swords, in your hopes and fears card. So you want to get over whatever this issue is, and you don't want it to be a complete and unmitigated total disaster. Understandable. You know, I'm with you 100% there. I would not want it to be a complete and utter disaster, but there's a healing influence here. From the other oracle cards, we have Malkut. So implying that these are real world changes that you have to be making. Therefore, living in the past ain't going to cut it, because that's not you're not dealing with the real world if you're living in the past. And then we have the angel Raphael, all about healing. I don't really need to say much more about that. Let me see, what's the slogan? I am strengthened and healed by the power of divine love. And that's echoed with, from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, Jeliel, representing love and wisdom. Interestingly, opposed against Agares, representing immorality. So this pain here could be something you did, could be something somebody else did to you. Don't care, doesn't matter. You know, either way, it's left a mark. You know, there's same with this envy. Because I did initially get this sense of jealousy here, and I was wondering if jealousy had played a part in creating this wound. Maybe jealousy on your side, maybe jealousy on somebody else's side, which caused them to do something which hurt. But you stand bottom of the deck, the Empress. And unlike the rest of this steampunk tarot, the Empress is the Empress. So there's a wonderful sense of things opening up for you here if you take the opportunity to deal with this pain, or more to the point, because that sounds like a lot of hard work and a lot of head work, I don't think necessarily diving in like a person-centered counseling situation or something like that is necessary. It's open your eyes and see what blessings you've got around you right now. Because when all said and done, that pain is from something that happened. Past tense. Stop living in the past. So, I mean, a quick summation of all the messages that I see here. If you're going somewhere, only go there on the right reasons. Open your eyes to see what blessings there are around you. Stop living in the past and notice that there is somebody offering, or there is somebody here who is devoted to you, offering a union with you. I think I might just do some clarification cards with these little tiny ones. They're awkward to shuffle, but I do like this tarot. Yes, this new balance, it's asking you to level up. It's asking you to actually go, well, what's my new structure going to be? Whatever this pain is, okay, maybe you need to talk about it, because you've been having your back to it for a long, long time. Now, oh my God, spirit, right, is definitely, or the stars or the planets, or however you look at it, is definitely giving you that energy to move forward. We have what Spirit's bringing in, what's crowning the situation, the Three of Engines, Three of Wands. But this Three of Engines is very much threes emotion, and this is motion. This is a race car. This is like, go vroom, you know, it's time to go. But this is something where it's time for you to go. Not as in you to leave or anything. It's time for you to start moving. Yeah, I have to check how I'm phrasing that. It's time for you to start moving. There's a rebirth here that will only be started on your own, but you are being given the guidance. Here, Lady of Leviathans, what you have to work with, and Eight of Wands. So the Lady of Leviathans, that's the Queen of Pentacles. And with this one, there's very much I mean, I think it's some form of cyber mermaid wandering. I'm sure she's underwater. She might be in a cave. Let's call her underwater. So some cyber mermaid with a little headlamp on, examining something or other on a rock. So there's that sense of investigation, but there's also that sense of nurturing investigation, that this is something that, as you are digging into something, you are caring for every aspect of it. So, and that will be a fast process, Eight of Wands to go with it. Then, as the period of time that you're moving into, we have the Triumph card, which is basically the Chariot, clarified by the King of Cups. So there is an emotional resolution. There is moving forward. Let's have a look at your process for assigning value. What's going on with that? Okay, so that one. Right. So there's a little bit of inner conflict where you're looking at what you used to hold dear, what you used to give value to, and what the new values that are more practical and are more useful and actually will, in the long run, will give you more joy. Five of Swords here. But this union that is offered you is by somebody very, very capable, clarified by Queen of Wands. And yes, you're wanting to have the end of this torment and the end of this pain. That involves you putting one foot in front of the other. And just examine everything, but examine, there's something here about other people. I mean, obviously there's this devotion, there's this union that someone else is offering to you, or is already in with you. I mean, it's almost like you have your back to it, that you're not really paying attention to the value that you have around you. I'm getting that from the Hermit card here with that pain, because again, I mean, okay, it's the Tarot of the New Visions. He's going to have his back to us. But I just see that as really significant, since he's got his back to us, hiding his light from us and staring at that Three of Swords. So I mean, really, I want to sum it up with saying, open your eyes, Aries. You know, things are not as bad as what you think, and there's progress to be made. Encouragement card from the Enchanted Map Oracle, which is basically saying, you know, you're going to be supported here as you put one foot in front of the other. And there's so much motion. I mean, look, we have Seven of Engines, which is Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands, that's the hill you're going to die on, or feeling defensive, or coming to terms with coming to face your peers, which is a meaning I often get from the Seven of Wands. And this one, it's not just your peers, it's the expertise. It's the being able to demonstrate a vast amount of resources that, well, there's that element of unveiling with it as well. Like I say, being presented to your peers or defending your hill. So there's resources that you are bringing to bear, that you are presenting to the world. And more movement, Knight of Wands. Now, if I remember correctly, that's you. I mean, any wand card can be you, but I think that's very, very, very you. As would be the Emperor, the divine partner. You're right. So if you are the Emperor, then having the Empress on the bottom of the deck, interestingly, Ace of Airships beneath, Ace of Swords, but clarity coming to the situation. The Empress is the divine. Oh, what's the phrase they use? It's flipped out in my head for the divine counterpart. But there is you working with another to gain that abundance. And you are the one that takes the first step here. By realizing that you want to set things right and get rid of that feeling of whatever it is looking over your shoulder, because bear in mind, that doesn't have to be something external. That can be you looking after your own shoulder, looking over your own shoulder, sorry, just going at yourself. And that has no value. So notice that it has no value. Because I think basically there's the world is pointing out to you that you can move forward with a new value structure. But if you hang on to the old one, then you're not going to get very far, and the grass will look greener elsewhere, where actually the grass is plenty green where you are. You have so much resources that you have to offer. Yep, that's everything that I see there, Aries. So I hope that means something for you. If it does, comment down below, because it's always nice to know that these readings get to the ears of whoever it is that needs to hear them. And yeah, if you've not watched it already, have a look at the show I did with astrologer David Fisher. And don't forget, sun, moon, and rising, especially rising. Cheers.